Let's start with a classic story that beautifully illustrates the power of our beliefs. Imagine a young boy at a circus captivated by the sight of a massive elephant tethered to a small wooden stake in the ground. The elephant could easily break free with a single tug, yet it remained calmly in place. The boy, puzzled, asked the nearby trainer, "Why doesn't the elephant just break free?" The trainer replied, "When this elephant was just a baby, we used the same rope and stake to tie it down. Back then it was too weak to break free. It tried and tried, but to no avail. Eventually, it simply gave up. Now, even though the elephant is fully grown and strong enough to break free, it still believes it can't. The rope that once held it physically now holds it captive mentally." This story highlights a profound truth. We're often held back by our limiting beliefs, beliefs that were formed in the past and may no longer serve us. Just like the elephant, we might have encountered setbacks or failures that led us to believe we weren't capable of achieving our dreams. But our past doesn't have to define our future. We have the power to break free from the invisible ropes that hold us back. Break free and unleash the incredible power that lies dormant within you. Let's delve into a story that beautifully illustrates the importance of humility and open-mindedness when it comes to personal growth. Imagine a wise professor, renowned for his knowledge and wisdom, sitting down with an eager student who was eager to learn from the master. The student, filled with his own ideas and opinions, talked at length, barely giving the professor a chance to speak. The professor listened patiently, nodding occasionally, but mostly letting the student have his say. After a while, the professor gestured to a teapot on the table and said, "Would you like a cup of tea?" The student, eager to show his appreciation, readily agreed. The professor then proceeded to pour the tea, but instead of stopping when the cup was full, he continued pouring until the tea overflowed, spilling onto the table and the student's lap. Startled and confused, the student exclaimed, "Professor, what are you doing? The cup is overflowing." The professor calmly replied, "You see, my dear student, just like this cup, your mind is already full of your own thoughts and ideas. You're so busy trying to pour your own knowledge out that you leave no room for anything new to come in. If you truly want to learn and grow, you must first empty your cup." This story teaches us a powerful lesson about the importance of humility and the willingness to let go of what we think we know. Just like the student with his cup overflowing with tea, we often approach learning with a mind already full of our own preconceived notions, biases, and opinions. To truly learn and grow, we must cultivate a mindset of humility, a recognition that we don't have all the answers and that there's always more to learn. Emptying our cup means approaching new information with an open mind, free from judgment or preconceived notions. By emptying our cups, we create space for new knowledge, new experiences, and ultimately, a richer, more fulfilling life. Let's dive into a story about the power of self-imposed limitations. Imagine a group of fleas placed inside a jar with a lid securely fastened on top. The fleas, full of energy and their natural instinct to jump, immediately try to escape their confinement. They leap with all their might, but each time they hit the lid, falling back down to the bottom of the jar. This continues for hours, then days. The fleas, bruised and disheartened, gradually begin to jump lower and lower, their leaps lacking the initial vigor and determination. Eventually they stop jumping altogether, resigned to their fate within the confines of the jar. Now, here's the interesting part. The experimenter removes the lid from the jar. The fleas are now free to jump out and explore the world beyond. However, none of them even attempt to escape. Conditioned by their past experiences, they've internalized the belief that they're incapable of jumping beyond a certain height, a height dictated by the now absent lid. This simple story holds a powerful message about the self-imposed limitations we often place upon ourselves. Don't let the memory of past limitations keep you trapped in a jar of your own making. Let's explore a story that highlights the true source of happiness. Once upon a time, there was a king who had it all: wealth, power, and a kingdom that stretched as far as the eye could see. Yet, despite his outward success, The king felt a persistent emptiness, a nagging sense that something was missing in his life. He had everything he could ever want materially, but true happiness eluded him. Determined to find the secret to lasting happiness, the king summoned the wisest men in his kingdom, scholars, philosophers, and even court jesters, hoping their insights would shed light on his predicament. They offered a myriad of solutions: amass more wealth, conquer more lands, surround yourself with more pleasures. The king diligently followed their advice, but to no avail. Happiness remained an elusive phantom, always just out of reach. One day, a wandering monk arrived at the palace gates, seeking shelter and food. The king, though initially hesitant to engage with someone so seemingly ordinary, decided to grant the monk an audience, hoping this simple man might possess the wisdom that had eluded the others. The king poured his heart out to the monk, confessing his unhappiness despite having everything the world could offer. The monk listened intently, his gaze calm and compassionate. When the king finished, the monk simply smiled and said, "Your Majesty, you've been searching for happiness in all the wrong places. You see, happiness is not something you find outside yourself. It's something you cultivate within." Let's explore a story that reminds us to run our own race. Imagine a group of friends, childhood companions who grew up together, sharing dreams and aspirations for the future. As they entered adulthood, their paths diverged, each pursuing their own unique goals. One friend, driven and ambitious, climbed the corporate ladder at a rapid pace, achieving success and recognition in the business world. Another friend, passionate about social justice, dedicated her life to activism, working tirelessly to make a difference in the world. A third friend, drawn to creative pursuits, pursued a career in the arts, expressing his soul through music, painting or writing. As the years went by, they occasionally crossed paths, sharing updates about their lives, accomplishments and challenges. However, a subtle but insidious comparison began to creep into their interactions. The friend who had achieved material success couldn't help but feel a pang of envy when he saw the fulfillment radiating from his friend, who was making a real difference in the world through her activism. The activist, in turn, sometimes questioned her own path, wondering if she should have strived for more financial security, especially when she saw the luxurious life her friend in the corporate world was living. The artist, often struggling financially but rich in soul and creativity, felt the pressure to conform to societal expectations of success, questioning the value of his artistic pursuits when he compared himself to his friends who had achieved more conventional markers of achievement. One day they met again, their conversation tinged with the familiar undercurrent of comparison and self-doubt. As they shared their stories, a wise old woman who had been listening quietly to their exchange decided to intervene. She said, "My dear ones, you're all running different races." These stories highlight some fundamental truths about personal growth. The elephant reminds us to break free from limiting beliefs. Emptying our cups allows us to embrace new ideas and learn continuously. The fleas in the jar teach us about self-imposed limitations. True happiness, as the king discovered, lies within. And finally, life is not a race against others, but a journey of self-improvement. Internalize these lessons, apply them to your life. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, keep striving for growth and live a life filled with purpose.